Well, another ugly goddamn loss by the Phillies. What else is new at this point? And my demeanor with this team has just really changed. It really has. Especially, yesterday honestly was the breaking point for me. I really try to stress optimism and everything like that. It just it isn't there anymore. It really isn't there. I'm at the point right now where the Phillies I can say like I want this team to be good, like I think this team can be good all I want. At the end of the day now, they got to prove it to us. Like I'm not going to get fooled anymore. I'm not going to fall for every single thing that they do. I'm just not. Cuz what I see on a daily basis, it's the same things. It's the way they lose games. It's the way they play defensively. It's the way that Bryce Harper literally has to carry the team on his back once again. Because right now the guy is possessed. He hits 4 hits tonight, and you somehow don't win the ball game. Joe Girardi looks like he's trying to get fired with his bullpen decisions. Seriously, it looks like he's really trying to. For some reason, you pull Ranger Suarez when he only had like 80-something pitch. I think it was like 88 pitches. You bring in Jose Alvarado, and you literally let him blow the game away. You literally let him do that. Somehow he got out of a worse jam, only allowing 2 runs. Got that terrible play where JT's trying to throw the runner out at second base, goes off the glove of Segura, goes between the legs of Stott, and I have no idea what the hell Odubel Herrera is doing out there in center field. I don't know what he's doing, how that ball gets behind him. It allows Swanson to go to third base and score, and then you get the Riley home run literally on the very next pitch. It's Joe Girardi with these bullpen decisions, because one, it doesn't make sense to bring in Alvarado at all. If you're trying to make the argument, oh, there's a lefty coming up eventually in the left, then why don't you put Alvarado into the game when the lefty comes out? Why not just let Ranger finish the inning? He only had 88 pitches. I'm not even saying Ranger Suarez was good tonight. He battled. He definitely did. He was meh. He was meh. At best. Really, the only guys in the lineup right now that are consistently doing anything is Bryce Harper, Gene Segura, and Alec Bohm. Those 3 guys have been your best hitters. Where's Rhys Hoskins on a consistent basis? We really haven't seen a hot stretch from Rhys. Kyle Schwarber, yeah, he hits a lot of home runs. Average is not where you want it. And I'm not saying Kyle Schwarber is going to be a 300 type of hitter, because that's not where he is. His career stat line, I think his average is career-wise around the 230s to the 240s. Yeah, he's a little bit way below his career average. He's going to hit bombs, we know that. But we haven't seen this hot stretch from Schwarber yet. Nick Castellanos looks completely lost at the plate. I'm not sure what's wrong with him. He looks super not confident in himself whatsoever, swinging at pitches that, probably shouldn't be swung at. Just looking like he doesn't want to be in the batter's box right now. And your bullpen. JT Realmuto looks lost. Bryson Stott still looks like he's outmatched so far in Major League Baseball. Yeah, Odubel Herrera had a bomb tonight. But these are going to be the Odubel games. He's going to give you good days in the batter's box, a couple of times, and then he's going to go on a stretch where he's really invisible and really bad. And he's swinging at pitches between his legs. It's what he is. And he's also a terrible center fielder. There are so many decisions that Joe Girardi makes, like just going to Alvarado. And apparently Anthony Dominguez was not available once again in this game. I don't know why. I think they said for some reason he has arm soreness. I don't buy it. Whatsoever. Because they stress trying to save the arms. They stress trying not to use the arms too much. They don't want to use the arms 3 days in a row. But Joe, it's a really good thing that you're saving these bullpen arms, because you know why? It's going to be so good in August when you're nowhere close to making the playoffs. It's going to be so good in September to where you're completely eliminated, like 12 games out of the playoff spot. That's what's going to be. That's what it's going to be. Yeah, it's still May. You still got June. There's still a lot of baseball left. I understand that. And yes, there's going to be moments during this season where the Phillies are riding a hot streak. There is. That's what the course of 162 games is. but it's the way they lose. It's the gut wrench. Like, seriously, after you tie the game at 4, the next half inning, all that stuff just happens. That should not happen. You should not be, going out there and immediately imploding the lead. Jose Alvarado comes in and barely records an out. Barely. He barely does. He got lucky on a double play. With the bases loaded, I believe. The rest of your pitching, the rest of the guys, there's very few reliable guys out of the bullpen. There really is. Bilotti, honestly, has been more of a reliable arm. If I look at some of these guys that were out there tonight, his ERA is at 2.7. He only allowed 1 run. Brogdon has been solid as of late. He still, he allowed a run. You can't trust Alvarado. You can't trust Norwood. You can't trust who else? Familia. There are a lot of guys in that bullpen you can't trust. Really, the only guys that I can say you can go out there and rely on a consistent basis: Corey Knebel, Brad Hand, maybe, Sir Anthony Dominguez, or I guess Bilotti. Really, there's not many reliable guys out there. And Girardi keeps, trying to push out these guys that just are not going to be solid for you whatsoever. There's not. It's literally just right now, Bryce Harper just doing everything possible to try to win ball games. It's unbelievable. Goes 4 for 5 tonight. Does everything possible. Alec Boehm had a couple of hits in this ball game as well. Gene Segura with the same thing, a couple of hits. The Phillies had 11 hits in total. Gene Segura, Bryce Harper, Alec Boehm combined, they had 8 of those hits. Those other hits came from 2 of them from Odubel Herrera and 1 of those from JT Realmuto. Rhys Hoskins 0 for, Nick Castellanos 0 for, and Kyle Schwarber 0 for. Same thing with Bryce and Stott. I don't know what to tell you. I just don't. Is Joe Girardi going to get fired? Probably not sooner rather than later, most likely. I don't know if Dave Dombrowski is going to pull the trigger. I'm sure the leash is very short. I just don't know when you would pull the trigger. Would you do it on an off day? They're not going to do it on this road trip, but most likely. I don't expect that to happen. It's like, honestly, I don't care what happens to Joe Girardi. I don't care if the Phillies don't fire him. I don't care if the Phillies do fire him. I don't. Because also at the end of the day, your players do have to perform. In this team, there are way too many good players on this team for them to be playing like this. Way too many. They're stuck right now in a terrible culture that Dave Dombrowski is in trying to fix literally from the bottom up. Dave Dombrowski is trying to fix this crap from the bottom up. From the minor leagues, hiring all these different types of scouting, development type of guys to fix out the minor league stuff. To try to get guys that can properly develop and you can call up and hopefully they would actually perform in the major leagues. He's trying to do that. And also trying to, fix the culture that's with the Major League Ball Club. This is all the stuff that's spiraling over from the Clintack and McPhail area. All their terrible drafting, just a terrible atmosphere that they bring, the losing atmosphere. This is what's going on. It's a losing atmosphere that is overwhelming these players. They're getting affected by the losing atmosphere. Bryce Harper doesn't seem to be affected by it, though. He's doing everything possible out there. Alec Boehm doesn't seem to be affected by it because when he has a bad game, especially in the field, he doesn't take that, into the batter's box. He's very consistent in the batter's box. Gene Segura, still one of your more consistent hitters. And it also just does seem like, right, especially with the bullpen, whoever you put in that bullpen, especially in a Phillies uniform, is just going to suck. Gonna suck. Whoever you put in there, they're not going to be good. I don't know if that's a coaching thing. I don't know if that's a culture thing. I just don't know. Because it's been like this for years. It's been like this ever since Gabe Kapler was here too. And especially with the mismanagements of the bullpen, Gabe Kapler was the same way. I'm not sure if that's an organizational philosophy with analytics and all that stuff for not using pitchers on 3 days in a row. I'm not sure if that was a Joe Girardi thing. It was kind of the same thing with Gabe Kapler. So honestly, that could be a Philadelphia, Phillies philosophy type of thing. But Joe Girardi says, "Oh, I stress by it, like I stand by it and all that." It's I don't know. I don't know. And just looking at this game overall, like I said, with the offense, Alec Boehm 2 for 5, Bryce Harper 4 for 5, trying to do everything possible. Gene Segura 2 for 5, Odubel Herrera 2 for 4 with a home run in this game. And just looking at some of the ways, like you get on the board first. You get on the board first with the Odubel Herrera bomb, but then you immediately give it up. Contreras at the home run to tie the game. Duvall walks. Arcia doubles. Ozzy Albies singles, scores 2 runs, and then you get a Swanson single, which scores a 4th run. So you make it a 1-0 ball game. Immediately, it goes into a 4-1 ball game like that. You immediately let them respond. Nothing happens basically there. You go to the top of the 4th. JT gets on base. Segura also reached with an infield single. So you get a 1st and 3rd situation for Odubel Herrera. He singles, makes it a 4-2 ball game. Go to the top of the 5th. You actually tie the game up. Alec Boehm leads off with a single. Bryce Harper doubles. So you get a 2nd and 3rd situation with no outs. Nick Castellanos with a force out, which scores a run, making it 4-3. Then Gene Segura singles to make it 4-4. So you tie the ball game up. But then you immediately let them respond once again. Swanson leads off with a single in the 5th. Ozuna then strikes out. Joe Girardi, for some reason, takes out Ranger Suarez with 88 pitches. I don't know why Joe Girardi took him out in this situation. I just don't understand. Because Jose Alvarado comes in. Swanson tries to steal second base. JT tries to throw him out. Ball goes off of Gene Segura's glove. Goes in between Bryce and Stott's legs. Odubel Herrera, I have no idea what the fuck he's doing in center field. Lets it go by him. Swanson scores. Like, seriously, it's brain dead plays. Brain dead. Brain dead. I just it makes it 5-4. Then Riley homers on the literal next pitch, 6-4. Somehow Alvarado gets out of it because Matt Olson singled. He walked Contreras. He walked Duvall. Arcia got into a double play. Nice play by Alec Boehm. 6, you don't do anything. Bottom of the 6th for them. Dansby Swanson homers. Makes it 7-4. Nothing goes in the top of the 7th. 1, 2, 3. Bottom of the 7th inning. You get a 2-out double by Arcia. This is with Brogdon on the mound. He gets the first 2 outs, then struggles to get the 3rd. Top of the 8th, nothing going on there after a JT leadoff single. Top 9, Harper got a double. Can't bring him home. I have no words. No words. It's loser base. It's just the way this team constantly loses. Every single time. Like, you can go around Major League Baseball. Yes, there's going to be games where, yes, every team's going to have that game that they want back. Look at yesterday's game with, the Giants and the Mets. I believe the Giants were up 8-2. Mets made it 11-8. And then the Giants tied it with Jock Peterson hitting 3 bombs that night, and then they eventually win in extra innings. That's definitely not a game either coach is going to like. After the Mets' perspective, you come back from that gigantic deficit, end up losing the game. The Giants giving up that deficit to begin with. Yeah, there are going to be games throughout baseball. Yes, you're going to have that blown save, a game that you're going to want back. You're going to have that specific game where you made that one mistake and you want it back. But with this Phillies team, so many of their losses are like that. And you wonder why this team's at 500. You wonder why. Because good teams that are built to go to the playoffs, don't have losses like this on a consistent basis. Now, today's loss, it's not as bad as yesterday's. It's not. It's still a bad loss, though, because of the way you did it. It's still bad, though, because you tied the ball game up and then you immediately gave the lead because of Joe Girardi's dumb decision to bring Jose Alvarado out onto the mound. And it's funny, too. I said this a couple of videos ago during the last week, during the homestand, when the offense was struggling and the bullpen was fine. I said, watch, some point, I think this was after the Dodgers series, the final game on Sunday. I said, watch, the offense wake up a little bit this week, and then the bullpen's going to suck. Exactly what we're going through. Exactly. Because for some reason, when the offense clicks a little bit, the bullpen sucks. But when the offense isn't clicking, the bullpen's fine. Make it make sense. It just doesn't. It doesn't make sense whatsoever why there is such a drastic difference when none of these things can click at the same time. Because still, I don't believe starting pitching has been the biggest issue for this team. It hasn't. Zack Wheeler has been really good as of late. Really good. Nola has given you more good starts than not, but you're still not winning his games, which is a big issue. Kyle Gibson, he's a guy that's going to go out there and battle. He's going to give you his really good starts. He's going to give you bad starts as well, but he's still going to be more of an inning eater than not. Ranger Suarez, he is obviously not the guy from last year. Take last year out of the picture because that was honestly an anomaly. None of us thought that he was going to replicate that. I said going into this season, if he gave you a mid-3 ERA to a low-4 ERA, that's probably what you're going to get from Ranger. Zach Eflin, after, getting his new arbitration deal, Zach Eflin's last couple of starts have been really good, but that's the same thing. When Zach Eflin is on, he is really good, and when he's off, he is not good. So, but overall, starting pitching surprisingly has not been the biggest issue for this team. It's the inconsistencies with the offense and your bullpen, obviously. And it's funny, too, I got the Stanley Cup playoffs on right next to me, and St. Louis just forced a Game 6 back in St. Louis against Colorado. So they just won it in overtime. So that's funny. After, coming back down from 3-0 in that game. And then, coming back after Nathan McKinnon just scores an insanely disgusting goal with like 2 minutes left. So that was a fun game there. That was fun to witness. This Phillies team is not fun now. This Phillies team is not fun whatsoever. They're not. It's the way this team loses games. I just don't get it. How they lose games just like this on a consistent basis. I don't understand. I really just don't understand how they consistently do this. It makes no sense. It really doesn't. Rob in the chat right here says, can't wait for Ricky Bowen post-game live. Honestly, I watched a little bit of post-game. Ricky wasn't going as crazy as I thought he would. But he was talking about the bullpen, how this bullpen, and, there's really no one in the bullpen you can rely on, which is stating the obvious. Channel name says baseball. Alvarado, avocado actually, is bad. Wonder if there's any bullpen pitchers we can still nab before the trade deadline. I'm sure Dave Dombrowski's going to do his work. I'm sure that's what's going to happen. Nab someone up for the bullpen because there's just so many guys you cannot rely on in this bullpen whatsoever. Willis says Bryce is simply the Joel Embiid of baseball. He has to carry this team because no one else on this roster cares to hit a damn baseball. Yeah. Really, right now, your most consistent hitters this season have been Bryce Harper, Alec Bohm, and Gene Segura. That's it. Just looking at their numbers in general. Going to, Alec Bohm. He's hitting 295 on the year. He's consistently giving you multi-hit games. Yeah, he was hitting 300, a couple of weeks ago. Went a little bit on a couple of games slump, but still, he's still finding ways to get on base. He's still getting hits. Wish the power numbers were up there, but Alec Bohm has been far from the problem this year. Bryce Harper, batting .318. 4 hits tonight. Just looking at his numbers in general. Batting .318. His OPS is over 1,000. 1,001 specifically right now. His slugging, I believe, is a 636, and his on-base percentage is a 365. On-base percentage, little low because he's not walking enough, but I can't complain about that because Bryce Harper is literally doing everything to get on base. I was finding something to nitpick there, but I shouldn't be because it's fucking Bryce Harper and he's amazing. Gene Segura, looking at his numbers, batting .297, on-base percentage 346, slugging 448. Can't complain about that. Him going on consistent hitting streaks, him getting consistent multi-hit games. Like, those three guys aren't the problem. They're not. Biggest issues. Rhys Hoskins, not being consistent, obviously. Nick Castellanos going through this huge slump after he got off to a hot start this year. Huge slump, even though I'm not fully worried about Nick Castellanos because he's been around the bump and he's consistently proven that he can be a consistent at least 280 hitter in this league. And going to Nick Castellanos' stats, just to look at his career numbers. Career-wise, he is, if I can fully see that. So let me see. His career average, so I can see his average. Career average 277. Looking at some of his seasons in the past. Last year in Cincinnati, batted 309. Previous year in Cincinnati, I think that was in a shortened season, he batted 225. Chicago, he batted 321. Last year in Detroit, 273. Previous year, 298, 272, 285, 255, 259, 278. Home run totals. Yeah, the home run totals are definitely low right here for Castellanos. He's only hit 5. He's not hitting home runs. Last year, he had 34. The shortened season in COVID, he had 14. For the Cubs, when he got traded there, he hit 16 in 52 games. 11 home runs before getting traded from the Tigers. 23 home runs, 26 home runs, 18 home runs. I'm more confident that Castellanos can get back into, I'm more confident he can find his way back into, his groove. He's in a major slump, though. That's an issue. He's in a really big slump, and that is hurting this team, specifically with the consistencies with the offense. True to Atlanta says, asking as a Braves fan, what would you do if you were the GM to help the bullpen? Honestly, if I'm in Dave Dombrowski's shoes, I don't know. I know he picked up some bullpen arms last year. He got guys like Ian Kennedy. He picked up Kyle Gibson for the rotation. I don't see him would he make major moves? I couldn't tell you. I know bullpen's probably going to be the number one thing on his list, shopping wise at the deadline when that comes up. I'm sure those are going to be big things. And who knows what else happens, because Mickey Moniak, he's doing good in his rehab assignment. He was just put the Double-A. He's having a couple of good games down there. It's going to be sooner rather than later. You most likely be seeing Mickey Moniak up in the roster. Who knows if there's going to be anyone that gets DFA'd, gets sent down, because Sam Coonrod is eventually going to come back. I'm not sure how much longer he's out, though. I know with let me see Sam Coonrod's injury, because I completely forgot about Sam Coonrod and his injury situation. So if I go to his injury report from, let's see. Okay, this is from March. So Coonrod suffers a strained shoulder, misses opening day. Let's see. What was he placed on, though? Let's see. What else? Is there anything else more on this Coonrod thing? So really, there hasn't been any updates from. Okay, let me go. Phillies injury updates right here from Phillies Nation. So if I go to anything on Sam Coonrod, okay. Reliever Sam Coonrod has been sidelined with a right shoulder strain since late March. Coonrod is currently on the 60-day injured list, but it sounds though he is making progress. He is getting stronger, a lot stronger than he was in the area that he needed to be strengthened. Girardi said he's starting to throw bullpens, I believe, so we're actually really happy with the progress that he's making. Don't have a date for when he'll go on a rehab assignment yet, but they have been really pleased with what he was doing during, his little routine here. So who knows when Coonrod's going to come back, but like I said, you're most likely going to be seeing something from Mickey Moniak eventually, very soon, most likely, especially with all these defensive blunders with Roman Quinn and Odubel Herrera in the outfield. They just need something to come up. Hopefully, Mickey Moniak could be a spark for this team. They need something. Because Bryce Harper isn't enough. Alec Boehm consistently hitting isn't enough. Gene Segura consistently hitting isn't enough. I don't know what they do in terms of the bullpen. I'm sure Dave Dombrowski is going to, beat around the bush, try to find some things, trade pieces or something like that to bring stuff into this bullpen to get it better. Hopefully get better arms for this bullpen, because you just consistently cannot keep throwing guys out there like Jose Alvarado, like Familia, like Norwood on a consistent basis. I want to see this entire Phillies bullpen too, just to see their overall numbers. So if I go to the Phillies roster wise, so if I go to Phillies, just to see their bullpen right now. So if I go to them, see what their stat wise is. So if I go to stats, Team stats. Can I go to specific player stats? Player for the let's see. Phillies positions. Let's go to pitcher. I guess I can't find anything on pitchers here. That sucks. Is there no pitchers here? Seriously? Oh, here we go. Pitching. So if I go to ERA, if I sort by, let's see. No, that's not it. Go to hitting, pitching. Well, I don't know why it's listed like that. All players. There we go. I don't know why that was listed like that. Okay, so if I look at this Phillies bullpen, a lot of the guys that are out here consistently. Damon Jones, 9 ERA, even though he's down in the minor leagues. Norwood, 7.9 ERA. Jose Alvarado, 7.62 ERA in 17 games. Norwood is pitching 16. I'm looking at the guys that I probably should sort this by most games played then. Okay, Brad Hand, 1.59 ERA in 18 games. But I kind of feel like that number is a little bit skewed because he does give up a lot of runs when he gets inherited runners when he comes into the games. So I feel like that's a little bit skewed, but I still don't think Brad Hand has been the worst. Corey Knebel, 18 games, he has a 3 ERA. He's had his bad games. He's had his good moments. I still would rely on Corey Knebel. Sir Anthony Dominguez in 17 appearances, 2.16 ERA. Familia in 17 appearances, 4.6 ERA. Norwood, like I said, is 7.9. Bilotti in 15 games has a 2.7 ERA. Nick Nelson in 11 games has a 3.38 ERA. Connor Brogdon in 9 games has a 3.68. And then looking at the rest of the bullpen, that's Bailey Falter, Chris Sanchez. Okay, and the rest of those guys really don't matter at much on that point. What else? Looking at the bullpen. Really, it's just there's a lot of guys in this bullpen. It's just that consistently go out there that shouldn't be going out there. Guys like Alvarado, guys like Norwood, guys like Familia. Because you look at some of these other arms in the bullpen, like Knebel has a 3 ERA, Bilotti has a 2.7. Nick Nelson, he's hit or miss, honestly. He'll have his good moments, but then Joe Girardi will throw him out there for another inning that he doesn't need to go out there for. And, ruins it. So I know there's been talks about Bailey Falter, Christopher Sanchez, those guys are being stretched out more for the rotation or something like that. Specifically, Bailey Falter, he's being stretched out a lot there to become a starter just to help out the rotation. And they've been talking about something like that, maybe one of those guys will pitch a game just to give the rest of the rotation to rest for a day. So I'm not sure whenever that is going to happen. But it's just, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I really couldn't tell you. Mr. 89 says the best way to describe this team, in his opinion, is consistently inconsistent. Yeah, that's probably perfect. That's definitely perfect. Or I would say a team right now, a culture-wise, a losing culture, a mediocre culture, a culture that inspires losing, a culture that inspires the way they play. Dave Dombrowski was here to fix that culture. Sometimes cultures take longer than you think to reset. And that's a lot of things to reset from the Clintack and McPhail era. That's what Dave Dombrowski was here to do. Right now, he's been doing it a lot throughout the minor leagues. Like I said, getting a lot of different, development guys, bringing in different scouting guys just to fix the minor leagues up. And the minor leagues, they've been doing a good job down there. They have been a lot better. Right now, getting the major league roster culture better, I don't know how that fixes it. Well, like I said, I don't care what happens regardless to Joe Girardi, if he stays or he gets canned. Either or, one of those two are going to happen. So, who knows? We got Philly Insider Podcast in the chat. Man, we suck, but on the bright side, Moniak is almost back. Yeah, hopefully Moniak can provide somewhat of a spark. He is showing some good things down there. They just need something positive right here. They just do. True to Atlanta, I know you were asking me, but personally, Philly Insider Podcast would fire Girardi and then add a couple of arms at the deadline. That's a possibility. Nelson had that good first outing where he went 4 innings, but 1 run to 8 innings early in the season. But since then, it's been a little rough. Yeah, like I said, he's been hit or miss. Very, very, very hit or miss. It's one of those situations. Nick Nelson is a guy that you can't go out there and pitch multiple games in a row. Jose Alvarado is a guy that you can't go out there and pitch multiple days in a row. Can't consistently rely on guys like Jose Alvarado and Familia. Just can't. Simply can't. I don't know. The Phillies are just at this point where, right now they're 4 games below 500. And just looking at the rest of the schedule upcoming, they have a game tomorrow in Atlanta, but there is a chance that the game could get rained out because I did see on the forecast that it is supposed to rain in Atlanta tomorrow all day. So I don't know how that's going to work if the game gets postponed tomorrow, maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe let me look at the forecast tomorrow in Atlanta just to see. So, because they said it was supposed to rain today and it didn't happen. So, Atlanta tomorrow, Thursday the 26th, 90% chance of rain and thunderstorms. So, that could be an all-day thing. So, there is a possibility that tomorrow's game is not played. Maybe it's the best possible thing. So we can get a day off from watching this Phillies team. Maybe. Who knows? But yeah, tomorrow, technically, you have a game in Atlanta, if it's played or not. Whenever that's going to be remade, if it does get postponed. You got the 3-game weekend series in New York. That's going to be fun. Not for Memorial Day weekend. Then you got the Giants next week. Got the Angels again. Well, you got the Giants and the Angels next week. And the Brewers on the road. The schedule, yeah, it does get easier after, that stretch of games. You got to find a way to win. True to Atlanta says, just asking, what is Girardi's reason to be fired? Is it mostly bad bullpen usage? There's a lot of things. Overall, Joe Girardi hasn't been the main reason for why they've been losing a lot of games. It's more been recently, especially he does make a lot of questionable bullpen decisions because of the way he utilizes the bullpen, bringing certain guys out when they shouldn't be. If you specifically look at yesterday, for some reason, Anthony Dominguez was not available yesterday. For some reason, he decided to go to Nick Nelson in the 9th inning, bringing him back for another go-around after he had a good 8th, which you shouldn't be doing that with some of these guys in the bullpen. Because when they go out there, they get out of a situation, you're setting them up to fail, bring them back out there for another inning. Looking at, the game against the Mets, where they blew the 7-1 lead and lost. Why are you bringing out a James Norwood? Even though that's a situation where, yeah, a lot of teams bring out, that guy in garbage situations to get the final outs. But it didn't work. Yeah, there have been certain situations where, yeah, maybe Joe Girardi made the right decision. The players just didn't execute. But more than recently, Joe Girardi has been making very head-scratching decisions. But that's also a thing where maybe you fire Joe Girardi, because when I watch Joe Girardi, especially during his press conferences and every time I see him in the dugout, he just does this expressionless, just with his hands crossed, just sitting there in the dugout. And especially, even I go back to the game against Milwaukee when Angel Hernandez was the home plate umpire, and it was a terrible night for the umpire, obviously. And the Phillies and the Brewers were getting screwed the entire night. Yeah, you didn't see Craig Counsell, complain with Angel Hernandez, but you would at your home ballpark to spark the crowd up a little bit, get your guys going. Why doesn't Joe Girardi do anything, to spark something? It takes until Kyle Schwarber in the 9th inning to do it. You see Joe Girardi in his press conferences, lifeless, boring, just nothing there. I'm not sure if the energy that he gives off reflects on the team too. It just seems like Joe doesn't care. That's the problem. That's what I see with Joe. He just doesn't, show anything out there for this team to have any type of personality. Yesterday, when we saw that Bryce Harper home run in the top of the 9th inning, that energy that is showcased, that's been very lackluster this year. Bryce Harper is literally one of the only players that shows emotion. And Bryce Harper, yeah, like sometimes he could be more of a quiet guy, but when he comes up in those big moments, he shows a lot of emotion. We need more of that. Right now, this team lacks a fucking identity. But right now, their identity is 500 baseball. A bunch of losers right now. I don't know. Maybe firing Joe sparks something. I don't know when would it happen because, like I said, if you look at their schedule, I don't think they have many off days coming up, especially in the upcoming stretch. If I look at the rest of May, no off days for the rest of May. They play tomorrow. Technically, tomorrow could be an off day if it does rain. Play a 3-game series against the Mets. 3-game series next week against the Giants. You do have off before the Angels series, though, at home. You have off before the Brewers series. Then you play the Diamondbacks, the Marlins, the Nationals, off day. So, yeah, there's off days in between. There definitely are. I'm not sure what would happen, though. Philly Insider says, true to Atlanta. Yeah, most likely. He believes in a manager's in-game decisions don't have a major effect on the outcome of games. So when it's clearly negative, I think there is a clear issue. Says that Girardi isn't the main reason. Personally, just thinks that it would spark the team if Girardi got fired. If we are still 500 to mid to late June, it might be time to pull the trigger. Yeah, that definitely could be a possibility. I'm not sure how much longer the leash is on Joe Girardi. Yep, no emotion at all. True to Atlanta says Snicker used to be very weird with the bullpen too. If you're familiar with the NBA, Nate McMillian gets accused of being lifeless too. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of, I'm sure there's a lot of coaches out there that have the same issues though. But it's just like my biggest issue is the way they've always lose in these type of fashions. No team in Major League Baseball loses consistently like this, where the losses are gut-wrenching, where the losses are just on like questionable decisions. They just don't. I don't see that whatsoever. It's mind-boggling. It really is. One more comment right here from Philly Insider before we close it off here. Personally, always been a McMillian fan of how he's elevated the Pacers teams that didn't have a ton of talent. Just haven't seen that with Girardi and his staff yet, but I'm not behind the scenes. Yeah. I think there are like there are a lot of new faces in that, coaching wise that are new. Like you see Kevin Long for the hitting. Like, yeah, there are some guys that look like they're benefiting from Kevin Long. You saw Mickey Moniak in spring training going off. He's doing good down and clear in the rehab assignment as well. Kevin Long told him to move closer to the plate. Maybe that fixed his swing a little bit. Alec Boehm looks better. It's just there's some guys right now, I'm not sure if it's the adjustment that kept, like Kyle Schwarber was with Kevin Long last year with Washington when he went on that huge month of hitting home runs. So Kyle Schwarber is a familiar with him. I'm not sure if Nick Castellanos is going through a stretch where he's not used to it. I don't know. Nick Castellanos just looks lost right now. There's not more that much I can tell you. It's just, I don't know. It's funny too because like if you like Atlanta, true to Atlanta, like the Braves like haven't been the best team this year either. So like the Braves haven't played the best this series either too. Like but the Braves, they're just taking advantage of like so many questionable decisions by the Phillies. They're taking advantage of it. The Phillies took advantage of the mistakes that you saw in the first game of the series with some of the bad outfielding by the Braves. And the Braves are taking advantage of everything else in these last 2 games. That's just what it's been. It's the way the Phillies do it. I just don't know. Offense is still a problem. 4 for 20 runners in scoring position in the series. Castellanos, Schwarber, JT, Hoskins, complete waste of money. Like, that's the thing. I'm going off on Castellanos and like JT. You can definitely complain about JT. Like to say Nick Castellanos is in a huge slump right now. Castellanos right now, yeah, is part of the issue. But I am not worried about Nick Castellanos at the plate because I do believe over time he's been around the bump and he's known to be a good hitter throughout baseball. He's known. I'm not sure what the issue is right now with him right now in this slump, but I'm sure he's a professional hitter. He'll get himself out of it. If we look at, Andrew McCutchen from last year with the way how slow he started last season. That wasn't who Andrew McCutchen was. He got better as the season went along. That's what I think about Nick Castellanos. Kyle Schwarber. Kyle Schwarber is, a notoriously slow starter. That's who he's been his entire career. Average is always going to be low. It's always going to be in the low 200s, but he's going to hit home runs. We haven't seen that streak of home runs by Kyle Schwarber yet. Same thing with Rhys Hoskins. We should know who Rhys Hoskins is at this point. He's a very hot, a very cold player. JT Realmuto, though, he's probably the biggest worry out of all 4 of those players for me. Castellanos and Kyle Schwarber are the lowest for me of worries because they're still brand new to this team. JT is probably the biggest concern for me, though. JT is. Braves have gotten pretty lucky, though. First to say that. Yeah, at least you're looking at this from like some other people that we see in like a lot of Philadelphia streams that just come here to troll. So at least you're seeing it from that approach. So I do appreciate that. We can have a nice discussion. Philly Insider says, great stream, man. 100% agree with everything you say. Going to be tuning in more often. I definitely appreciate that, Philly Insider podcast. Definitely appreciate that. Nice to meet you, True Atlantic. Do you have a channel I can subscribe to? So, okay. So, I think I'm going to call it here, everyone. Thank you, everyone, here for joining the stream, everything like that. Just to sulk in the misery. That's basically all it is. So, I appreciate everyone here for joining here and talk about this Phillies loss. So, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I will greatly appreciate that. Don't forget to drop a like on the like button as well. Don't forget to check out everything that is down in the description below. BrodesMedia, Painted Lines, Florida Podcast, everything down there in the description below. Do not forget to check those out. Also, don't forget to use the code TTPSPORTS for $20 off your first SeatGeek order. I will see you next time, guys. If it's tomorrow, if the game is played, most likely you'll see a stream. And then if there is no game tomorrow, you'll be seeing most likely, the recap for Friday's game against the Mets. So definitely we'll see you next time.